here with the Kaged review, and I am going to do a review today for WWE Greatest Royal Rumble. This is the event they had in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Culturally a very important show, and the first pay-per-view that they've ever had from the Middle East. So that's kind of significant within itself. The pay-per-view itself, though, just to review the matches, I'll go ahead and get started right away, jump into this. The first match was Triple H versus John Cena. And I think they started with this match because these two are better at telling a story in a wrestling match. There's a lot of guys who are certainly more able to wow the audience and to be able to bring that aspect of like the high flying and acrobatics and things like that. But these guys are just good at telling a story, being able to evoke the right emotions from the crowd, things like that. And so I mean, it was a decent match. I'm always impressed with anybody who's over 40 and still holding a match of this caliber, and they both do a very good job. Cena 41 and Triple H, God, I forget, but he's getting up there. I mean, he's definitely not a young guy anymore, and did very well. And so I mean, it was a decent match. It wasn't anything that really grabbed my attention. It didn't exactly wow me, but it was a good match. I don't know that there was really any big highlights. You had Triple H hit the pedigree, John Cena kicked out. John Cena hit the AA, Triple H kicked out. They went back and forth like that. John Cena wins when he hits a couple of AAs together. And then he does the whole company bit. You know, it's John Cena, so he's the spokesman. And of course, he thanks everybody in Saudi Arabia for being very hospitable and letting them come over, which was cool. I mean, you know, this is a big moment. And the Saudi government is trying to modernize themselves a little bit and try to allow their citizens to enjoy their lives for once. And so that there's something to be said for that. So I am wholeheartedly behind this decision to do this. Because there are, some political implications here. I mean, it definitely bonds international relations, and anything that can bring people together, I'm all for it. And it's funny how wrestling, of all things, seems to be this worldwide phenomenon that has really just caught people by, surprise, I think. And it really does. I mean, McMahon and Triple H, they have this thing where they want this to bring people together, and I think they do a very good job at that. So a little off topic there, but I think it is important. So the next match is a Cruiserweight Championship match. It's Cedric Alexander versus Kalisto, and I really like this match because the crowd reacts differently in Saudi Arabia than we do here. Typically, if there's no story, we don't care. There's not much to back it up. It's whatever. But over there, these guys, a lot of their moves, the crowd was just wowing at all of these acrobatic moves that Cedric Alexander and Kalisto could do. And I thought it was very cool that, these guys who are really the workhorses of the WWE got the reactions they deserved. Because these are the guys who really put their bodies on the line. They're constantly doing shit that, is going to take years off of at least their health, if not their life. And so I think it's very cool that during this match, all the acrobatic stuff that they were doing, the backflips, the Hurricane Ranas, things like that, the crowd really popped with these moves and they were like gasping. So it was really cool to hear that audible, like, wow, because like I said, these guys, they are the workhorses, and I thought it was a really good way to set the tone for the rest of the night. At the end, Cedric Alexander, Kalisto was going to go for Selena del Sol, or whatever it's called, and Cedric Alexander turns it into the backbreaker and picks up the win. So Cedric Alexander is the Cruiserweight Champion still. The next match was the Raw Tag Team Champions, Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt versus Cesaro and Sheamus, the Bar. And they were talking about, if the Bar wins, they go back to Raw. And I was like, it made me wonder, okay, well, is that possible that that's what's going to happen? It was a cool match for what it was. It was decent. It was well choreographed, but I mean, again, I don't know if there was any standout moment for me. I think the crowd kind of got into it when there was a moment when Bray Wyatt got in there, and he's a big guy, and he was going full steam, like he was just running around the ring like he was a cruiserweight for a few minutes there, and so the crowd was really getting into that. And at the end of the day, double team Wyatt and Matt Hardy. They do this like elevated twist of fate type of thing, and they win the Raw Tag Team Championship. So Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt are now the Raw Tag Team Champions. So that's pretty cool. I like that. The next match was Jeff Hardy versus Jinder Mahal for the United States Championship. And it was funny because the crowd was still booing Jinder. I guess in my head I thought that they might, like him a little bit more, like the fact that, he's from a lot closer than anybody else. But no, they really went for Jeff Hardy on this. And it was funny, when Jeff Hardy walked out, there was a lot of fireworks coming out of the stadium. And I was like, that's cool. They've always kind of thought Jeff Hardy a little bit higher up the ladder than Matt Hardy for some reason. He's always had that connection with the fans, and they've always elevated Jeff Hardy a little bit. And it was really cool because, I mean, after all his trials and tribulations and things, man, for him to come out, get the pyro, get the pop, it was a really cool moment. So, however, there was one part in this match, the real takeaway for me here. I typically am a fan of Jeff Hardy, but he did have one kind of major fuck up here. He goes to the top rope at one point to do the Whisper in the Wind, but he just jumps too quick. Jinder Mahal wasn't in position, and it was Jinder just very laggedly getting up, and then him jumping too soon, and in the collection of the two of them fucking up just made it look all wrong. So Jeff, he jumps off the top rope, he misses the Whisper in the Wind, and then to try and sell it, Jinder just falls. Like, Jeff Hardy was already on the mat, and Jinder just falls down and slams hard like he just got nailed. It looked ridiculous. Now, the Jinder kind of being out of place, Jeff Hardy jumping too soon, that was kind of both of them fucking up. The second part of that was just Jinder not having the experience. Like, he just sold that so horribly. He could have stood and then like kicked Jeff Hardy on the mat or something, trying to capitalize on like Jeff Hardy missing the moment. But instead, he tries to do this incredibly nasty looking fake sell. Jinder made it look ridiculous. He really did. And I've always said I've not been a fan of Jinder Mahal in the ring. He's very stiff as, not stiff as in hard hitting, but stiff as in very rigid movements. Out of place a lot. Not really having the finesse that a lot of the guys do. And this is just one extra example of why I am not a Jinder Mahal fan when it comes to wrestling. I'm just not. Say what you want, but he has never impressed me in any single match that he's ever been in. And a lot of times I think he makes too many damn mistakes. And in this case, it looked horrible. It really did. On a huge stage in another country. It made us look ridiculous. So thankfully, Jeff Hardy retains the United States Championship. And the rest of the match wasn't bad, honestly. Like, I can't say anything too terrible about it. It was a decent match, but that one spot was really bad. So backstage, you get an interview with Chris Jericho. Jericho coming back. I actually just saw him in concert with Fozzy a few days back, and I mean literally a few days back. It was last Friday. And here he is in Saudi Arabia with the WWE. I swear to God, this guy's schedule. So he does a bit with You Just Made the List, and it did not get the pop over there that it gets in the States. And I noticed that during the backstage interview segments, the crowd was very quiet. You didn't get much laughter, you didn't get much roar from the crowd. So it's just a different dynamic there. Backstage interview with Daniel Bryan after Chris Jericho. You know, just talking about the Royal Rumble match, and that, not anything spectacular. I mean, you know, just something to fill the spot real quick. The next actual match, though, was the Usos versus the Bludgeon Brothers. Big fan of the Usos, and I'm actually kind of a fan of the Bludgeon Brothers too, to be honest. Two big guys that looked the part. More a fan of Harper than Rowan. Harper can really move. Rowan's big, and he's getting better, but he's, you know, your typical big man. So it was a decent match, though, all the way around. But at the end, Bludgeon Brothers win. There was not really anything too memorable about this match either. I can't pick out one moment that really stood out to me. So, you know, you'll find that just about everything here is kind of the same thing. It's a decent match. Nothing that really stood out for me. But not bad either. I mean, you know, enough to keep me entertained. The next match might have been my favorite match, to be very honest. Seth Rollins versus Samoa Joe versus The Miz versus Finn Balor. And I'm going to critique Finn Balor again. You are in another country now where you're on a huge stage and you do not use the demon gimmick. It's fucking lazy. If you're not gonna fucking do it, then don't bring it to the WWE in the first place. That's how I feel. You have an amazing gimmick that you're just not using. It's a fucking waste. I don't care how long it takes. You're getting paid enough money to do it once in a while. And if this isn't the stage to do it, then I don't know what is. So I have a huge criticism there for Finn Balor. Or the WWE, whoever decided not to use it. But quite frankly, I thought it was lazy. Other than that, the match was really good. There were some really cool moments. Seth Rollins is cat quick, and he did a really cool moment where he did a springboard from the ropes and actually jumped up on the ladder, caught it, and ran up the ladder real quick. And that was at the end of the match. I'm always impressed with Seth Rollins. He's incredibly athletic in just about every way that you can be. So that was cool. And then you have Seth Rollins, after that ladder jump, runs up the ladder, grabs the belt. He gets the belt back. So he's still Intercontinental Champion. That was cool. Very cool match. I really liked the athleticism from everybody there. Samoa Joe impressed me during the match. He had a couple of really good spots. Even The Miz during the match, there was a point where he was just running through everybody and fast and furious, and I was even impressed with The Miz with this match, so no complaints. After that, they had an in-ring segment. They were doing WWE tryouts in a few of the cities in Saudi Arabia, and they brought 4 of these guys to the ring, and they were introducing them to the Saudi crowd, and you know, they let the guys talk and say how this is like a dream come true for them. And then the Daivari brothers come to the ring carrying the Iranian flag, and you know, talking a lot of shit, building up the typical heel heat like you would with, say, you know, the Iron Sheik here in the States or something like that. And so eventually it comes down to all 4 of these guys take care of the Daivari brothers. Brings a big pop for the local crowd. So, I mean, it was kind of cool. You didn't know any of the faces, but you could tell it was a cool moment for these guys. So I appreciated that. I mean, I, you know, absolutely thought it was cool for where they were at and what they were trying to do. I thought it was great. After that, you get the match with Shinsuke Nakamura versus AJ Styles. WWE Championship match, and really good. I liked it. I was a little, maybe not the ending, because what happened at the ending was AJ Styles had Nakamura outside, and the emotion builds up, and he just goes to waylaying Nakamura all over the outside. They get counted out. So double count out. AJ retains, and he just really lays it on Nakamura afterwards. He does like a springboard elbow, and I don't know. I think I would have liked a winner, but you can't have everything the same, so I'm not going to complain too much about it. You keep everything in the same way, then it just gets boring. So then you get Rusev versus The Undertaker in a casket match. This was definitely a longer match than WrestleMania for The Undertaker. And you could tell him getting winded toward the end. I mean, but he actually looked pretty good still. I have to give this man all the credit, and I mean all the credit in the world, to be, 54, I think, something like that. And to be in that ring and putting on these matches for, 20 minutes or whatever it was, I couldn't do it. I mean, I'm 40, and, well, I have health issues, so I have pretty decent health issues. But, I mean, when I was in my prime, I could do it for days, but, I'm well past my prime. And so the realization that this guy has got, like 14 years on me and still going out there kicking ass and taking names, all the respect and props in the world to that man. So, I mean, it's The Undertaker in a casket match at the end of his career. He's going to win. There's no way they're going to put Rusev over The Undertaker. So it wasn't a big surprise. He hits Rusev with a choke slam, puts him in the casket, and then Aiden English tries to attack Undertaker from behind. Of course, that's not going to work. He tombstones Aiden English, throws English in the casket with Rusev, closes it. Undertaker wins, of course. Like I said, decent, not a big standout, but like I said, all the respect in the world to The Undertaker for even getting in there, honestly. Then you get Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar for the WWE Universal Championship. I don't know that this was a big match for me. I mean, it was kind of a slugfest in ways, but it's already been rehashed too much. I think I'm fully tired of this matchup in particular. And the only cool moment of the whole match was the very end, where Roman Reigns spears Brock Lesnar. They both go through the cage, like the side of the cage just collapses. Brock Lesnar hits first, so therefore he retains because he hit the floor before Roman Reigns did. So Brock Lesnar retains. And then you get the 50-man Royal Rumble match. Biggest Royal Rumble in history. You start out with Daniel Bryan. The crowd pops like crazy for Daniel Bryan, which I thought was cool, because clearly he's respected everywhere. And Dolph Ziggler is the second, which I thought was good, because I really like Dolph Ziggler, and I really think he's not used nearly enough. So I'm going to give you the list of names real quick. I'm literally just going to, as quickly as I can, list all 50 names in order that they came in. It was Sin Cara, Curtis Axel, Mark Henry, Mark Kanellis, Hiroki Sumi, which is a sumo wrestler from Japan, Victor, Kofi Kingston, Tony Nese, Dash Wilder, Hornswoggle made his appearance, Primo Cologne, Xavier Woods, Bo Dallas, Kurt Angle, Scott Dawson, Goldust, Connor, Elias, Luke Gallows, Rhino, Drew Gulak, Tucker Knight from NXT, Bobby Roode, Fandango, Chad Gable, Rey Mysterio, Mojo Rawley, Tyler Breeze, Big E, Carl Anderson, Apollo Crews, Roderick Strong, who had a very good segment with Daniel Bryan. Roderick Strong and Daniel Bryan was good. Randy Orton, Heath Slater, Babatunde from NXT, Baron Corbin, Titus O'Neil, Dan Matha, Braun Strowman, Ty Dillinger, Kurt Hawkins, Bobby Lashley, Great Khali, Kevin Owens, Shane McMahon, Shelton Benjamin, Big Cass, and Chris Jericho. Save Jericho for last. Of course, why wouldn't you? Because he's a highlight. He's somebody you want to see. And he's really the only legend or surprise character that mattered. And it wasn't really a surprise because they told everybody he was coming. And as a Royal Rumble goes, this was definitely not anywhere near my favorite because there were no surprises. And I guess that's because they had to take everybody to Saudi Arabia, and it would have been a lot of complication to get a lot of guest characters over there. So it was difficult because it was kind of the who's who of who gives a shit for the most part. There were a few big names in this, but everybody else was mid-card to low-card. So it didn't sell very well for me. It just did not. One of the highlights for me was number 39, Titus O'Neil. Guy's like, I don't know how tall he is, 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", whatever it is, running to the ring, trips as he gets to the ringside area, falls and slides all the way underneath the ring. You can see 1 foot barely poking out. Like I said, 6'5", 6'6", 6'7". His whole body's underneath the ring. He just tripped, slid, and everybody started laughing. Like, there was not a stone cold face anywhere. And even the guys that were out there were laughing their asses off. So it was really funny. At the end, Braun Strowman won. And there it is. So ladies and gentlemen, overall I would give this probably a 5 out of 10 because honestly, it was entertaining to keep me there, but not entertaining enough that I really had any wow moments. So that's my grade, probably a 5 out of 10. Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you enjoyed this review, hit the like button, subscribe, and share. My name is Kevin Jackwitz, Kaged Nation, out.